guys, it's Katie, and if you've been on my channel for a little bit or have watched any of my videos, you know that I'm a huge Sarah J Maas fan. And today I wanted to talk about Sarah J Maas and what the Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses series has done for my life. So if you're interested in watching, stick around. First things first, I want to talk about how I got into the Throne of Glass fandom. Actually, in 2013, one of my really good friends, Sarah, found the Throne of Glass book with the original cover at a library in our hometown, and she rented it and she loved it. I mean, like, she went home and read it thinking it would just kind of be this cheesy whatever book, and ended up just loving it. And the next day she shoves this book into my hands and she goes, "Katie, you're gonna love this book." And I did. I went home and read it, and I stayed up super late that night, and then I woke up really early the next morning and like finished the book, and I just loved it. And I called her the next day and I was like, "Sarah, we have to meet up, like we have to talk about this book, you know." And we did, and it was so fun because it was something not a lot of people were into then. I mean, Throne of Glass was the only book, and it was so fun for both of us, because shortly after that I bought the novellas on my Kindle, because 4 of the novellas that are now in the Assassin's Blade, which is behind me, were originally published on the Kindle, or were published as ebooks, I suppose. And they came out, I guess, between the time Throne of Glass came out and Crown of Midnight. My friend Sarah and I got really involved in the fandom on Tumblr, actually, and I can still remember some of the like blog names of people that I interacted with that were huge fans of this book series that like was one book. And I remember anticipating Crown of Midnight so strongly. And that's such a fun thing to remember, because the fandom has grown so much, which is so exciting. Really, it's very exciting, but it's also like kind of bittersweet, because even though I love seeing that Sarah J Maas has become so successful and that her books are just multiplying and are amazing, it's also bittersweet because, you know, I'm one of like a million people who love her books, and that's kind of sad. I don't know, it's cool, but it's at the same time, you know, I'm less special. Anyways, I read Throne of Glass, I think kind of in the late spring or early summer months, and throughout the summers when we read the ebooks, the prequel novels. And so when Crown of Midnight came out, I was actually, you know, books come out on a Tuesday. I was at home that weekend visiting my parents. I was like, "Hey, let's go visit this bookstore, because you know, I really want to pick up this book. It's the second book in the series." You know, my mom's like, "Okay, fine." So she takes me to the bookstore, and we get there, and they actually had autographed copies. So my copy of Crown of Midnight is actually an autographed copy, which is really cool. But little did I know, which I found out then, Sarah had actually been at the bookstore the day before for an event, I mean, and for the book tour, and I missed it. I was literally less than 2 miles away doing nothing, and I missed the fact that she was even in town. I honestly, like, in the bookstore with my mom, I like was almost in tears, and my mom was like, "Are you okay? What's wrong with you?" And I was so sad, because this is my favorite author. I mean, from the time I read her first book, she became my favorite author. From that moment on, it's been a life goal of mine to meet Sarah J Maas. So I paid very close attention to her tour dates since then. And she returned to Texas one time for the Texas Teen Festival in Austin, Texas. Around that time period, I think that's when Heir of Fire was coming out. I couldn't go to Austin that weekend. I was really bummed that I couldn't go to that. And then this year, she went to San Diego Comic-Con. And I had originally planned to go to San Diego Comic-Con this year before I knew that she was going, but I decided not to enter the ticket lottery because I would just be starting work in June and I wasn't really sure what kind of vacation time I was gonna get and if I would be able to take off for San Diego Comic-Con at all. So I didn't, I didn't enter the ticket lottery, and shortly after all of that, Sarah announced that she was going to be going to San Diego Comic-Con, and I was really sad. Like probably more sad than I should have been. But it's just one of those things that it feels like time after time after time I have like missed these opportunities, and I've been really bummed about it, and especially after the San Diego Comic-Con thing happened, I was really bummed. But shortly after that, her tour dates for Empire of Storms were announced, and the second I saw that she was going to be in Texas at all, I bought tickets. So on Wednesday, of September 7th, I will be in Austin to meet Sarah J Maas at Book People on her Empire of Storms tour. And I honestly think I'm just going to incoherently cry at her because I have been looking forward to this for like 4 years. I had this opportunity years ago where maybe 50 people would be there, and I missed it, and I ever since then have just had this long desire to meet her, and it's gonna come true in 21 days. And I could not be more excited. Honestly, I'm just so excited that I'm gonna have the opportunity to meet her, because not only am I an extremely huge fan of her books, like, and just her as an author, she has such an amazing skill with world building and character building and story weaving, and like seriously, A Court of Mist and Fury had me weeping throughout the book, and I just love these books, and she's such an amazing author. And really and truly, had I not found the Throne of Glass series all those years ago, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. The first booktube video that I ever watched was actually Kat on Catatastic's review of Queen of Shadows. That's when I discovered booktube, and now I have my own channel, and it's really exciting, and I've met all these people, and I wouldn't have that if I had never read the Throne of Glass series, or that if it hadn't happened when it did. And that's so cool to me that like it's literally impacted my life. And actually to this day, my review of A Court of Mist and Fury is my most watched video. I love the fact that that happened, that like I read that book the day it came out. Oh my god, you guys. Highlight of my life until I meet Sarah J Maas. Okay, the day A Court of Mist and Fury came out, I read the entire book like that day, and I tweeted I tweeted Sarah J Maas like in the middle of the night about the book, how much I loved it. And I woke up the next morning and she had liked my tweet, and that was so cool to me. She liked my tweet. And while she is, I think, too popular now to interact consistently on social media, I do love the way she's always talking about her fans, and whenever she goes on tour, she posts like a picture or something with her fans, and she is always thanking people on Twitter. And I think that that's such a good, like, she has a very humble attitude, despite the fact that she has some extreme popularity. I think that's just a kind of a really good aspect of her. What's really fun, I guess, about her is I identify strongly with her. She and I have a lot of shared interests. She's really into Lord of the Rings, which I am also into. And when she went on her tour in New Zealand, she went to a bunch of like Lord of the Rings things while she was there, and I was like green with envy, but also like really excited for her at the same time. And I love that she really loves that as well, because she talked about how she was like crying at Hobbiton, and like that's gonna be me. And she also really loves Outlander, and I really like Outlander, and she just kind of has all these like funny, like she loves a lot of fandoms, and I love a lot of the same fandoms, I guess. But also she's really interested in traveling, and she really likes good food. Those are things that I'm interested in as well. And I love that I just kind of identify strongly with her, and she's such a strong woman, and her books always have really strong female characters, and I love that because I think that we need role models for young girls who are reading some of these books. Well, I love that friendship is such an important aspect of her life. So not only, I guess, is Sarah J Maas my favorite author, but she's also a big role model for me. And I'm really, really, really excited about the fact that she's been some part of my life. Not like her personally, she has no idea who I am, but the fact that she's impacted my life, it's really cool to me. And the fact that I'm a part of the fandoms that she's created, and I have found real friendships out of talking to people about her books, and I love that. I love that she created that. And so really and truly, the highlight of my life is going to be in next month when I meet Sarah J Maas, and I'm debating on vlogging it. I kind of don't think I'm gonna vlog, but I'm definitely gonna document it in some way. I'll take some pictures for sure. I would probably just pass out on the floor if I actually was able to get a picture with her, but I just don't really know how feasible that's gonna be. It's okay. I'm cool with just meeting her and getting her to sign my book. Honestly, I just wanted to talk about how I love her fandom and how I like her as an author and how I like her as a person, and that was the whole purpose of this video. So I hope that you guys liked this video, and I hope that you share some of my thoughts and opinions. And if you have had your own kind of, I guess, experience with Sarah J Maas or any other author, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. If you are a big fan of her books, feel free to comment down below. We can make a lifelong friendship. Anyways, that's it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see some more of my videos, check out my channel and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time. Bye, y'all.